What's up YouTube, it's your girl Majestic Madness 15 and we're back at it again with another video, and this time we're doing an update on my Forza Motorsport adventure. You know, the game has been out for a little over a month at this point, and let's just call a spade a spade. We're gonna be 100% honest here. My driving sucked. It was terrible, and I have no one to blame but myself. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. I was accelerating too hard, I was braking too hard, I could barely stay on the track to save my life. And somehow, we still managed to get like first place in some of those races. I don't understand, I don't know. But I will say that what really helped me was all of your positive comments and all of your helpful comments as well. I really appreciate all the love and just support that I got in that last video. So many people were trying to give me tips on how to drive better. So many people were just very supportive of the fact that I was even trying this game, because Forza Motorsport is the hard one out of Motorsport and Horizon. So thank you guys so much. So from those comments, along with talking to some of my friends who have been either playing Motorsport or Horizon or both for the last few years, I got some good advice and I spent the last month practicing. I did all of the modern tour racing. And on top of that, I also started the Rivals mode, the recommendation of one of my friends. And I feel like with both of those put together, it really helped me drive better. It really helped me actually understand what I needed to do in order to improve my times and segments and also win the races. I found that probably one of the best things that I could have done was pay attention to the guidelines. Now, I'll be honest and say I still struggle to actually drive the path that they recommend, but I do pay a lot more attention to the colors. I found that when the color is yellow, and if I just slightly ease my finger off of the acceleration and just kind of ease off the gas, sometimes I could slow down enough to get into the blue and I wouldn't have to pump the brakes at all. I found that if it was red, and I might pump the brake once maybe, while also easing off of the gas, I could actually make my turns. And on top of making my turns, I found that my segment times were starting to go down. And I also found that between my first practice lap and maybe my final lap of a race, sometimes I could shave off a good 20 seconds off of my race time as I got more familiar with the track and as I knew when to accelerate to stay on and when to brake. My times were actually getting better. And even if they weren't drastically getting better or not getting better at all, I did find that once I really hit my groove, my lap times were within the same amount of time, and so were my segments. So even just making these two very simple, very small changes, my racing was getting significantly better, at least for me, at least for a beginner. I also found that Rivals was a really helpful mode in order to really see improvement, but also compare yourself to other people without having to fully dive into multiplayer. Because when I tell you I did 2 of the qualifiers for multiplayer, and granted it was before I was really working on bettering my racing, but it was rough. I'm talking 11th place out of 12. And I was not, people were miles ahead of me, minutes away from me, as that, at least that's what it felt like. It was still seconds, but it felt like minutes. But Rivals was a really good mode to not only compare myself to other people, but also compare my times and see how my times were getting better and how I was matching up. So if you're not familiar with Rivals, what you get to do is you get to pick a specific course, and depending on which courses you pick, you have your list of cars that you can pick from there, and everybody races on the same course if you're picking that, and you're just comparing your one lap to somebody else's. Every time that you surpass someone, they give you a new rival, so you have a new person, a new time that you're trying to beat. There's also the featured rival races where It cycles every, I think, 7 days, and every person has the same car, every person has the same lap, and you're just trying to see how many people you can do better than. Shout out to Black Gallifreyan, one of my Xbox friends, who took it upon themselves to see my featured rival time and decided they wanted to challenge me. At this point, he has surpassed me, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to beat him before the time is up, but you know, it's a good job. I think for both of those, I managed to pass at least 3 people per featured race. And how it works is super intuitive, where you're seeing the ghost almost of the other person's car in front of you. So if you guys are turning at the exact same point, you might sometimes see your cars kind of like blend together. But if they're ahead of you, you are seeing the ghost of their car and how they drove their lap. And if you don't see them at all, hopefully that means that it's because you've passed them. What I also found super helpful about Rival was the fact that it also taught me which sections I was having a tough time at. Like if I'm winning 90% of the race, but in that last turn, somebody is surpassing me because they are either accelerating faster than me or they were braking, before I did, so they managed to make the turn a little bit easier. It gave me a point that I knew I needed to watch out for, and I knew I needed to try to do better. And with every lap that I did, I became more and more comfortable with some of these courses, and it made it a lot easier to make my times better. If you don't beat somebody, you just start the race all over again when you pass that finish line. It becomes the starting line, and you watch the ghost of their car again. And you can run it as many times as you want until you either beat them or you decide you won't want to play. I found that in some instances, I could actually surpass some people within my first lap of challenging them. And there were some people that, it took a couple turns and then maybe I might surpass them, or maybe it just meant I needed to keep practicing on my driving. But overall, I had a really fun time, and I felt like it was a really good way to just focus on one course, focus on one lap, and focus on just trying to better those times and trying to better yourself. I found that when I did the careers, I was still bettering my times, but I'm only competing with myself. I'm competing with my segment times. I'm competing with my lap times. But I didn't really get a good sense of how am I comparing with other people? Where is a little bit more of a challenge? Because let's be honest, my difficulty for the career is it's still a 1. It's still a 1. We're still dipping our toe into playing more and doing better at Motorsport. And you know what? I might be at that point where I can start upping my difficulty a little bit, but I think I like practicing and trying to make sure I actually better understand how to drive and better understand how to become better as I'm doing these career modes. I will say I've really enjoyed my time with Forza Motorsport, and part of that is because of you guys. Honestly, it started out as this game that I just wanted to try because Xbox gave me a copy of it, but all of your positivity and your advice really just made me wonder, can I actually get better? And the answer is yeah. Now, I'm not the best out here. I don't know if I ever will be, but I do see some small improvements from when I first started, and that's enough for me for right now. I do want to continue playing, and if you guys do enjoy running rivals and you would like for me to race against your times, please leave your Xbox accounts down below along with whatever courses and times that you were running, and I will try my best to make sure I challenge you guys. And if I surpass you, awesome. But I feel like based off of some of your comments, I might not, but I'm gonna try. I really like that competitive aspect, but also that aspect of playing amongst other people. So thank you guys for making my experience with Forza so positive and actually making me want to play more. Now, at the recommendation of a lot of you guys, I will be trying Forza Horizon 5. I know that's supposed to be more the fun one, the more beginner friendly racing game. I've played it a couple of times on like my friends' accounts, but I've never actually played it myself. So I will be starting that from the beginning and not formally doing a comparison, but just kind of seeing what do I notice and what do I like more between the two. If you want to stay up to date with what's going on with this channel, I know it's a little sporadic right now. I've had a lot going on this year, but I do plan on being a lot more consistent with my content. So please, if you want to know what's going on, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell for notifications. If you like this video, please leave me a thumbs up. And if you want to play any Forza Motorsport, please just make sure you leave your Xbox handles down below, and also courses if you want me to race against your rivals' time. I'll catch you guys at the next one.